What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classifieds Cobra Pilot with Cobra Claw. So this is a deluxe figure pack where we get the figure of the Cobra Pilot, which looks pretty nice. Nice design. Love like the red and blue. Looks pretty cool. Of course, standard colors for Cobra, but it just stands out a little bit more with the more red that they added onto it. And then we get the Claw, which is the Covert light aerial weapon. So pretty much this big glider backpack thing, whatever you want to call it, that they can fly around with, which looks cool. If we spin around to the back, we can see sort of the layout there. So there we get our pilot along with the claw, which looks pretty cool, and of course a bunch of accessory effects like and stuff that will go for it, as well as weapons for our pilot. So just pretty cool with that design overall. So just a single aerial weapon for the Cobra pilots there. So it looks pretty cool for this pack that I'm excited to check out. So let me get it open out of the box and we'll take a look at it together. So here we have our Cobra Pilot and Cobra Claw out of the box. We'll go ahead and just start with our pilot first and go through all of her stuff. So she looks pretty good. Of course, looks pretty similar to all our Cobra Troopers and everything we've had before, just in the female body. And then the suit's probably a lot slicker and stuff. We didn't grab a Cobra Trooper to compare, but you know, has very similar designs overall. A lot of black going on here, but then has the blue and red thrown in, which like I mentioned in the opening, love that design with the red thrown against the blue. Just makes it stand out quite a bit. So like on the helmet design, we get the red mask piece covering up her face, and then the blue like design, you know, covering the rest of her, like balaclava design. Blue on the chest with the red Cobra logo, some blue thrown in throughout the black body design and stuff, like on the boots, on the thighs, some around the wrist here. And then she has some additional stuff like this nice vest on top of her. It's got different things, almost like a little like walkie-talkie design or something going on there, some sort of tubing running through her with that vest. And then she has a thigh holster on the side, of course, to hold some weapons, some knee pads, of course those boots like I said, and then this device on her arm. So maybe it's like an altitude sort of device or something there, which is pretty cool. So overall it's a nice design. Like I said, just really like the color designs for this. Now movement wise, we have their head that'll twist all the way around, can look down that far and up that far, so decent movements there in the neck. Get the shoulders up to 90 with a little bit of a butterfly, not much though, and it'll rotate all the way around. Get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends all the way up on itself there. Wrist will twist all the way around and has the hinge up and down ham. Then we get the ab crunch, which mostly hidden behind this thing, so it's mostly just crunching there at the waist or somewhere around there, and we'll twist around there as well. The hips will come up to 90 and out to the side. Of course, thigh holsters now falling down there. Get a thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back. Get a shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So decent movements overall. You know, if it works about this like all of our standard G.I. Joes, nothing new or surprising there with her, but it works out nice, which is good. Now she comes with a number of accessories. We get different head options, so we get that we can switch out. So we get the different head options here for the females, so we can choose between a black or white person, whatever we want to choose there. Either one doesn't really matter to me, but I do actually think I want to switch out for this other head. So we get this one that's got the mask, because she's going to be going up in the atmosphere and stuff. She may want a more of mask covering more of her body and stuff, so probably switch out to that one. But if we were like army building or something, either one of those other heads would work, and of course we would buy multiple to have the different head options and everything. And she also comes, like a lot of the Cobra Troopers, is the weird helmet design, so we get this on, which is nice. That actually sticks on there pretty well. I was worried like if we're going to do stuff with the claw that if you like put her in and try to like fly around, it would just fall off, but that really stuck down on her head, so that works out pretty good. Nice red design with the V on and stuff, just works pretty good and sticks on there pretty well. Of course it looks a little dorky with the design, but for Cobra that's kind of just their aesthetic, so works out really good. So I actually really like how tough that was to get on there. Then we go to her weapon. So first we get a pistol, so just a more futuristic looking pistol design. Of course we can put this in the thigh holster here on her right thigh, so just store that away in there. Then she comes with some other guns, so we get an Uzi design, which is cool, that has a silencer or suppressor there on the front, of course an extended mag and all that, so we can put that into her hand, as well as this gun, which I'm not sure if it's a shotgun or not. It looks almost like shotgun shells, which it looks like they may be backwards, not sure. Yeah, I'm gonna switch that around there to say it looks like they were kind of backwards maybe, although it's designed to go that way, so maybe I just don't know guns that well. But there you go, almost with that design look like shotgun shells, but we get the foregrip, the extended stock on there. I love the different colors with the whitish gray and stuff with that as well, but looks cool. So maybe let's put this into our hand. So there she is with the gun. Of course, you can tell they didn't design it too well, especially for a female, because it barely fits in her hand because the grip is so thick in her small hands, and then her arm like has to be pretty much all the way stretched out just to be able to reach on to the foregrip there. So it doesn't really fit the easiest into her hand, which is unfortunate. But of course, we'll be putting her in the claw, so hopefully that'll work out, because she'll need her hands open for that. And then weirdly with this, they also included a base. Now I think it's so you can be able to have her with the claw on and stuff, so it gives a nice base to help stand and stuff. But it's weird, we always get these these with the retro cards and everything, so it's weird it came with her. And so I'll just go and just put her on it for now, so that I'll just keep her standing there. Like I said, I think it's mostly though to be able to use with the claw. So speaking of, we'll move to the claw now, which looks pretty cool here. Nice big design for it, which is the Cobra claw, which is Covert light aerial weapons, which is a jet powered hang glider for Cobra. So it looks pretty nice with this design. So obviously we can take our Cobra character and stick them in there so they can be able to like fly with it, you know, hang glide with it. It has grips here they can hold on to, which there is different movements on these. So like these grips can move in and out and stuff and be adjusted there. But what's really cool, as you see, is there's also wheels for this. We get wheels that we can fold down, so you can fold them down there, twist them out to the side. I don't like that these ones have to twist to the side where these ones can just fold down. So you get that now as well, so it can roll around and it's kind of like placed perfectly, so it keeps it standing up. So we can still have our Cobra Trooper in there and have her rolling around with it. Then we get different guns and stuff. So we get guns like here on the front. So 2 guns looks like, and this one can adjust, so maybe shoot up a little higher and lower there. And yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like this thing twists around as well, so that'll twist around, so that's nice. Then we get little wing flaps off to the side here, so maybe if it's on the ground like this, you can have those sort of folded up there. But nice that they have missiles off to the side. Love the lights, so we get the green and red lights, little lights here off the front as well as the very front center there. Of course, says Cobra with a Cobra logo, then 237 with a number 8 on the side. We get these back flaps as well. They'll adjust, so of course can allow you to the thing to adjust up and down. Different fins, as well as some engines here on the side, or right in the center I should say, that say danger, so don't go into the exhaust there, even though it's really close to the person, so the arm may accidentally get sucked in there, although it looks like it's got some grating on it and stuff. So overall works out pretty nice and cool like that it can roll around, so it looks more like an airplane in this design. But let's go ahead and take our Cobra Trooper, or pilot, I keep saying Trooper, but we'll go and take our pilot and put her in here. So there's our Cobra pilot in the claw, which is pretty cool. That's standing here all by itself. That's not something I thought it would be able to do, so that's pretty crazy. But as you can see, it just sort of fits on her. And there are adjustable straps, which obviously they made this so you can fit with any sort of character. So even the male versions could easily wear this. So it's a little bit big for her, but I was able to get the straps pulled, you know, as tight as I can, so it completely covers up the belt design. But you can put her arms on that, and obviously if we want to have her flying, you can have the arms like out more, since these handles do adjust and stuff. So we do that. Of course, you can't look up very far, so she'd only be able to look up about straight on that far there, but looks pretty cool with the design. Like I said, really cool that it can stand up here all by itself without really having any issues or anything. But like I said, I do think they did include the base so that we could put it on just to keep it more stable. So you can have a design like that. So like I said, you can put this on a shelf and not have to worry about it falling nearly as much. So that is pretty cool. And then I don't want to forget that the claw actually came with some effects as well. I think these go in the exhaust. That's kind of what it looked like on the box. Like it didn't show exactly, but on like the cartoonized picture, whatever you want to call it, there was like some flames like this coming out of the exhaust here on each of the engines. So you can stick that in there as well. So you can have that now sort of flying around. And of course you can take this if you want, like maybe hang it up from your display and have it like flying around and stuff. That'd be pretty cool with our Cobra pilot there. But like I said, hard to really do, like with the way the figure moves and like all the stuff you have to fit in around and stuff. Doesn't really like work out the best for posability. But like I said, we can take these exhaust out and just have her sort of posed up like this on the shelf there. Would be pretty cool as well to go along with our other Cobra vehicles and everything. So that is pretty cool and awesome. I do like the design, love how it fits and like works out a lot better than I thought it would. So they did do a pretty good job with that design overall, and works out really nice for the Cobra Claw with our Cobra pilot. So let me know what you thought of the Cobra Claw down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with the like and hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.